Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. These are not the views of the radio station. These are the views of the Bulldog, which constitute radio superbity. Because as I look around the landscape of America and the world today and this Monday morning, I know we have NCAA basketball to discuss and rap about and be excited about. But I'll tell you right now, I cannot believe the stupidity, the absolute stupidity that consumes us. And you know what? I put this on my newsletter and blog this morning. Ignorance is bliss. And I'm not talking about that ignorance and bliss that you don't know what your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend is doing. I'm talking about ignorance is bliss of what's going on in the world and America. You know what? I get so uptight that you could stick a diamond up my colon, a piece of coal up my colon and have a diamond in about 30 minutes. But you know what? I'm beginning to understand all these people like my wife that just are going about their business every day, not paying attention to what the hell's going on. You know why? They have lower blood pressure. You know what I'm talking about, TC? I understand why.
Is that a result?
Everybody just doesn't care about what's going on. They're oblivious to what's going on because they don't have to worry about high blood pressure. Then again, my blood pressure is perfect because I get it all out. I don't hold nothing in. That's the secret, TC, to good blood pressure is you don't hold anything in.
That's all right. Stay healthy.
You know, but I'm not kidding you. It drives me nuts. I saw a book that just came out. This dude wrote a book, and he's a smart guy, and he's talking about what I've been talking about forever. It's a book about Regulation Nation and how regulation is killing this country. He says, people don't realize it, but what's really killing us is what the president's doing. How many times have I been telling the American people that what's going on in this country is once Congress passes a bill, the enabling legislation, that all of these departments in the executive branch can legislate the hell out of things without any bill passing. Obamacare, check it out. In addition to the 2,800-page bill, there's regulation after regulation. Dodd-Frank, the Consumer Act. I mean, you name it. Regulation, regulation, regulation. Remember I told George Willoff when he was talking about the most important thing is to win the United States Senate and the executive branch is really not important. Well, guess what? In Sunday's column, George Will's talking about the increased power of the executive branch and all the damage it can do due to regulation. What a hypocrite. Or maybe he listened to my show. Bottom line is, I'm smarter than George Will any day of the week. He needs to go to Les Cubs game and listen to my show more often. Maybe he'll be smarter. I bet you nobody was expecting this kind of attitude out of the gate, TC.
I don't know. From you?
On a Monday morning, you know, I'm usually jolly.
You're usually a mellow guy, laid back, relaxed, calm.
I think we need to get
excited.
I think we need to get to pop culture before I implode. I got an extensive pop culture report. Hulk Hogan apparently has had a sex tape, and he claims he didn't know anything about it. Come on, Hulk.
What?
All those little Hulksters out there are going to be disappointed. And how embarrassing it could be if Hulk Hogan comes up short. Chad Ochocinco signed a reality show with Evelyn Lusada. Now get this. She was on Basketball Wives. I guess that wife didn't work out very well. To focus on their preparation to take their vows, which is going to be on VH1. Bobby Christina. Did you watch the Oprah interview? Hell, I didn't waste my time, did you? Apparently, she doesn't want her dad's name, and she wants to be called Christina Houston. God love the little thing. 19 years old, all the best to her.
Now, I wonder why.
But I'm sorry, I don't want to waste my time watching what she has to say.
I'm just curious as to what happened, why she does. I mean, she grew up with her father up until recently. They only got divorced like 4 or 5 years ago.
She probably blames old dad for what happened to mom.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody does, but he's still living.
Yep. Courtney Love's ex-assistant has apparently written a tell-all book, TC. And get this. She reveals Courtney's a delusional drug addict. Oh, my God. No. Did we have to have the assistant reveal that? Hell no.
There's a waste of a tree.
Good golly. John Mayer canceled a tour due to a throat condition. And nobody's ever going to tell me that he would have snagged Jennifer Aniston and Jessica Simpson if he wasn't a good musician. Look at that dork. Are you kidding me? Britney Spears apparently is headed to the X Factor. The X Factor needs something. Maybe they ought to call me. I'll liven up that show. And Dennis Quaid, his wife files for divorce. I want to tell you something about this. She is smoking.
Really?
Oh my! There is no other than my wife. There is nobody any better looking than Dennis Quaid's wife.
Better than Meg Ryan?
Oh my gosh! Put Megan Ryan to shame.
Wow.
I assume there's a prenup. She wants everything. He doesn't want to have anything. I like Dennis Quaid. I'm in Dennis Quaid's camp. In movies, the Lorax brought in $39.1 million. And you've heard me say this. How many times have you heard me say this? If a studio wants to make movies, come to me. I have more true stories that we could make winning movies out at probably at 10 or 20 million a pop. But no, Disney spends $250 million to make a movie called John Carter. $30.6 million its opening week.
Wow.
It'll go down from there.
Yeah.
Talk about a bust. Movie review. I saw the movie TC with my lovely wife on Saturday, Friends with Kids. I found it very funny. It's a great cast, funny story. Will be morally offensive to anyone who opposes children out of wedlock. But a little spoiler alert, it all works out. That's all I'm saying. Friends with Kids was a funny movie.
Friends with Kids. Great title. Christian
Laettner, all you UK fans who are still bitter, you're still bitter. Good news. Wall Street Journal reports he's bankrupt. Bad real estate investments. Ooh. With his college. Apparently, he took Sean Merriman has like a 3-point, the linebacker, has like a 3-point-something million judgment against him. He's getting sued left and right for all the investors that he apparently took for a ride.
Wow.
Christian Laettner. TLC has canceled the All-American Muslim. Why'd they ever do it in the first place, TC?
Whoa. Let's analyze that title there for a second. The All-American Muslim?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oxymoron.
Got all 5 people listening to that show, watching that show, huh?
The Crystal Cathedral has been sold to the Roman Catholic Diocese of Orange County, and Dr. Robert Schuller resigned from the board. I used to watch the CBS morning show all the time, so I got to watch the beginning or the end of this show that they did, and it was Robert Schuller, then his son. And his daughter comes out and says, after building this thing called the Crystal Palace, by the way, he started his ministry in a drive-in theater, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. They come out and said, our ministry isn't just about a building. It's about faith. Then why the hell did you build the Crystal Palace in the first place? Good God.
Wanted to house that faith in something
One day, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I'm going to have the Church of Bulldog, and you can show up every Sunday on television and radio. By the way, we're the Christian broadcasting station. How come I don't have a Sunday morning sermon show?
There are several reasons for that.
I got to talk to Yinger. I want a Sunday morning preaching show. A couple great books on the Wall Street Journal book review this weekend. One is called The Curious History of Love by Jean-Claude Kaufman. Here's a line from it. From Romeo to Juliet to the one-night stand, modern societies are torn between the ideal of fidelity and the thirst for freedom. Let me tell you something, guys and gals. Choose fidelity. You got a good woman, hang with her. You're going to be miserable. You know what? True story. I know a couple relationships, people that I know, clients who were in that bitter, they've already been divorced or about ready to get nasty divorce, and they're about ready to reconcile. And I said, good for you guys. And you would have never dreamt they would reconcile. And you know why they're going to reconcile? They realize it ain't pretty out there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
If I was single, TC, give me a break. It always looks greener from the other side. Right. But all you'd end up doing is dating, I don't know, whatever you'd have to date when you're a 48-year-old has-been.
Well, usually when you're single, when you're free and single and available, girls won't give you the time of day. But when you're in a relationship, then everybody wants to look at you.
Bingo! Because you know what? When you're single, they think, what's wrong with that guy? Right. But when you're taken, they're like, he must have something going on.
What's going on with that guy? Yeah, I'll get it.
And also, there's a book called The One by R.J. Smith about James Brown. Here's a line from that. I taught them everything they know, but not everything I know.
Great line.
Yeah, baby.
Is that the James Brown?
The James Brown.
Wow.
Wow, I feel good. We come back, we're going to hit the local stuff, and we are going to cover the NCAA tournament. and everything relative to that. And we got politics, economics, radio. I put on my promotion for the show that there's too much recession, depression, too many shins in the world. Evictions. We're going to stay away from shins and just deliver radio superbity.
Recession. You know, I figured out the difference between a depression and a recession. A recession is
they
when
both suck.
A recession is when your neighbor gets laid off. Depression is when you get laid off.
That's Ronald Reagan's quote. When we come back, more radio superbity, and maybe TC can come up with something original. I'm just teasing you, TC, on Real Talk 1160.
Coming up this morning at 7:28, it's O'Reilly's Talking Points right here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Bill O'Reilly on the Bulldog. I think I'm feeling about 95% pain right now.
What happened?
Just in a bad mood. And you know what else happened?
What's that?
Mike Huckabee comes on at 8:25. We got Huckabee and O'Reilly on the Bulldog.
Yeah.
Of course, they're second fiddle to my show.
You know what's nice about Huckabee is he's right there as far as the political stuff. He's right on top of it every single day. And he's kind of along the same, parallel. His subject matter is parallel to what we're usually talking about during the day.
Yeah, and he's a likable chap.
Yeah.
Mike Huckabee's a likable chap. He's deceptive. You know, he's a former preacher, but he's pretty tough. But he's fallen into it. He's building like some mega mansion down in Florida.
Yeah.
It all goes to their head. When I'm a billionaire, TC, I'm still going to live on South Ridge Drive.
All right. You're not going to get a big head. No.
I'm not going to get a big head.
Success will not spoil you.
Success will not spoil me. I have some local news. First of all, I ought to give him Oracle status. The new Boone County Republican chairman is Rick Brueggemann, who is Bernie Kunkel's best buddy, which makes him my buddy. Of course, I know Rick. He's an attorney. But that's big news out there in Boone County. Let me see. Also, local news. The criminal charges against the occupiers have all been dropped, and they have dropped their federal lawsuit. It's like, you drop yours and we'll drop ours.
All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3, drop them.
Yep.
And guess what? They're going to go 24 hours at Pyatt Park now, at one section of it. We're starting over the weekend.
Well, isn't that special, as Church Lady would say?
Very.
Have you ever played Show Me Yours, Show Me Yours?
I plead the fifth.
Drop. Business jobs in Northern Kentucky. According to the Enquirer, buoyed by manufacturing, Northern Kentucky economy gained new jobs, new companies, and hundreds of millions in dollars in capital investment and 1,300 jobs. You know, it cracks me up that these, like the Northern Kentucky Triad and all these, they are in the business of trying to make it seem like business is great. Jobs are great. Promote the region. To sell.
They're spin doctors.
I bet you if you're living in Northern Kentucky right now, you probably fit in one of these categories. A, you're unemployed. B, you haven't had a pay raise forever. 3, you're working a job that you wish you had a better job. 4, you're stuck in a job you wish you didn't have. 5, you wish I don't know.
That's pretty much
I lost my train of thought.
That's the whole country right there, isn't it?
Yeah. How many people are in a job making what they think they ought to make and are happy as slop? Not many. Oh, how about Music Hall? We reported that they were going to sell Music Hall for $1, and then these new owners was going to invest like $160 million. Well, no. You know what? I got to get into the corporate welfare business because here we go. They want to buy it for $1. But then they want the city to give them $5 million. Hello. Do they think we're stupid? That's not buying it for $1. That's being given City Hall or Music Hall plus $5 million.
Hey, you know, Mallory might go for that.
Golly, jack wagons everywhere.
You never know. We're talking about a mayor who's having a second phase of the streetcar project. He might give him $5 million.
You see, you wonder why I'm angry all the time. It's things like this. Meanwhile, Beachwater Park is closing after 27 years. They cite different entertainment and the economy and yada, 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 yada. The owners tried to get some financing, investors. It hasn't worked out. There's hope that maybe somebody will step in. I doubt it. 27 years, the beach water park. And you know why it's going bankrupt? Because all of you louts sit in your computers and you play your games, and on a nice sunny day, instead of going to the beach water park, you're in the house looking pasty white.
Yeah.
That's the problem with America. Think we're going to get through this show?
I don't know. We got another hour and a half, hour and 37 minutes.
Are you ready for sports?
I am ready for some sports. Are you ready for some sports?
Maybe sports.
Wait a minute. Let me take my seed. Okay.
Maybe some sports will cheer me up. Well, I want to just say right now, congratulations to the UC Bearcats. They were playing flat impressive in the Big East tournament, knocking off Marquette, knocking off Syracuse, almost coming back and beating Louisville. And they have earned a 12-15 game Friday in Nashville against Texas. I also want to congratulate Xavier fans. You know, you played your way into the tournament. 10 seed against Notre Dame, 9:40 on Friday. By the way, all this stuff is in the newspaper. It's on my blog, newsletter, ESPN. If you're following your team, you know you're going to get the details. You already know the details. In the East region, Ohio State, number 2, plays Loyola. 9:40 on Thursday. Good news for Buckeye fans. Loyola has never won a game in the NCAA tournament. UK plays the winner of the play-in game, Mississippi Valley State and number 16 Western Kentucky. They will play, UK will, 6:50 Thursday. The number 1 seed overall. And I'm like you, UK fans. I watched in horror as Vanderbilt beat us. However, a little bit of news. I think it was 98. Whenever Patino won the national championship, we lost in the SEC finals to Mississippi State or Ole Miss to go on. So that loss could be a good omen. Didn't want to lose, but what you going to do?
What you going to do?
UK. Hanson the horse hung out at Turfway this weekend. Will run in the Wood Memorial April 7th. In golf, Justin Rose won the Cadillac Championship, and Woods withdrew with soreness in his left Achilles tendon. It's so sad, TC. This guy's never going to be the same.
Never going to heal. Nope.
NASCAR, Tony Stewart won the Cobalt Tools 400 at Vegas Speedway, second one of the season. In the NFL, Manning spent like several days in Denver. Then he was going to visit Arizona. The Titans, and remember, he played down in Tennessee. The Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Seahawks are also interested. Manning's all-season home is in Miami. The NBA, Lakers beat the Celtics 97-94. In the NFL also, the Redskins have lost their minds. I got one word for the Redskins. Herschel Walker. They have traded their 3 first-round draft choices and a second round so they can draft Robert Griffin III, who you watch will blow out a knee in preseason.
That would be terrible.
I know it'll be terrible. NCAA, the number 1s, UK, Syracuse, UNC, and Michigan State. Michigan State defeated Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. Vanderbilt beat UK. Florida State beat UNC without Hanson. There's my sports report. TC, you got your piece of paper there. I can tell you're dying to say something.
I'm excited about this. We have UC baseball. Broadcasts begin on March 18th. Steve Jarnigy is going to be doing most of those games. Catch him right here on Real Talk 1160 versus Michigan State. First game, 12:30 pregame. Then the game will start first pitch at 1 o'clock.
Play ball.
Play ball.
When's that game going to be?
That's going to be March 18th, which I believe is, what, a Saturday, Sunday?
Throw a pitch inside and high.
Yeah.
Inside and high.
That's it.
Let me see here. I already talked about ignorance. How about maybe that's the problem.
What's that?
This turning the clocks up.
Ah, that threw you off. Yeah, you lost an hour.
Losing an hour's sleep sucks. But longer daylight is nice.
Yeah.
When we come back, Witty and Wise. That's all I got for you, folks. Witty and Wise. 513-579-1160 on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I think I've struck a chord with my comments about singledom. Who would want to be single?
What's wrong with being single?
However, Chris from Mount Healthy reports, Bulldog, I'm single and 37 and raising my 2 kids on my own.
Good for you.
I don't even try to date anymore. The women my age are messed up. They live in the past and think all men are dogs. We are, Chris. If in my age they are single, it is for a reason. You know what? There are a lot of men haters out there.
Yeah, well.
They've been mistreated too many times. A fan sent me a picture. This made my weekend. There is a horse out there named Witty and Wise.
Really?
True story. A Witty and Wise. I don't know if Witty and Wise won. I don't even know if Witty Wise is a good horse or not, but I don't care. That is a cool name for a horse.
That is.
Witty and Wise. So
and
you watch.
Witty and Wise.
You watch.
Witty and Wise.
Somebody's going to name a horse Radio Superbity.
And it's Witty and Wise and Radio Superbity, Witty and Wise, Radio Superbity, Radio Superbity, Witty and Wise, Witty and Wise, Radio Superbity. It's a tie. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? That'd be a great race.
It'd be a great race between Radio Superbity and there comes plain and stupid way back.
And bringing up the rear is Sick and Tired.
And Jack Wagon is 9 lengths back. And here comes Oracle on the outside. Greenwater is trying to get in on the rail.
Greenwater slips through.
We ought to come up with all of our sayings. The American jury is 2 lengths back.
We'll make up our own racing
race.
event. Yeah.
We got to do that for the Derby.
That'll be great.
The Derby
yeah.
coming up. We crack ourselves up here.
Now, see, program director Rob Williams is in the car right now going, I got an idea for that.
That's right.
He'll have something by the time he gets here.
By the way, we're going to keep this PG because parents are taking their kids to school. But you know those fan photographs that I received?
Yes.
My wife was okay with it, you know.
Really?
Of course, she knew about it. And
okay.
I did show her the pictures, and she was disgusted as I was.
And she said, why did you keep those pictures?
No. I told her, I said, they're going in a scrapbook because those are special fan mail. Heck, why would I throw those away?
Well, because you wouldn't want your wife to know that you kept them.
First, let me see here. I tell you, I just get pumped up when I start talking about it. I got a couple things on the world news. First of all, China, their target growth for 2012 is 7.5%. Ours, less than 2%.
Really?
Japan, only 2. 1 year later, after the tsunami, only 2 of their 54 nuclear power plants are up and running.
Yeah.
Japan, come on, man. Don't overreact. Get your power rolling.
They're going to be looking into coal. They might be hurting for a while. I mean, a long time.
Yep. Let's thank goodness it's the warm season coming. Afghanistan. The American I wanted everybody. I condemn the American soldier who went berserk and killed 16, including 9 children and 3 women. It's terrible. Obviously, this guy snapped. I will bet you money that what caused him to snap is he lost a buddy. And he to some kind of roadside bomb or somebody, and he just decided the hell with this.
You know, I wonder though. This guy actually acted on this, but how many other soldiers over? Because we have the post-traumatic stress disorder and all that. How many other guys over there feel the same way?
Exactly. By the way, it's terrible. It's a volatile situation. He's going to pay the price. But you know what? There's never the same outrage for the atrocities committed against us.
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm not condoning at all what this guy did. I'm just understanding it.
But this guy
the price of war.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's going to. You're right. He's going to be punished more severely, or it'll be a bigger deal than if it were the other way around and someone did that to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I was thinking on the way in this morning when Washington Times was reporting that story, how nobody mentions Russia. And then all of a sudden, John mentioned what was going on, and I said, good for him. You know, folks, Russia could not defeat the Afghanistans, and we think we could. I mean, this has just been a terrible, terrible tragedy. Terrible tragedy. I'm not going to get into the legal news today. You can check it out on my blog and newsletter. You know, there's nothing so fun that it's worth reporting here on the radio show, so I'm not going to report it. In politics, the latest political news, this is funny. Newt Gingrich, who's got to win, even Newt's admitted that he's going to have to win Alabama and Mississippi. I mean, he really has to do something in the South besides his native Georgia. Apparently, to try to help him a little bit, he's apparently discussing the possibility of announcing or may announce that he's decided to have Mr. Oops on his vice presidential ticket if he wins. Now, get this. Newt thinks saying Rick, Mr. Oops Perry, as his vice president is going to help him in Alabama and Mississippi. I would knock, knock, Newt. You're supposed to be a smart guy. What's the logic of that? Now, hey, Newt, this might have done the trick, okay? Announce this. If I'm elected president, I'm going to move the White House to Talladega. That might get you. Or you're going to adopt Alabama as the national football team or something. Come on, Newt. Am I not right?
Yeah.
I mean, how does Rick Perry? How does making Rick Perry Mr. Oops, your vice president, going to win you Mississippi and Alabama?
Nah, you might get Texas, a little bit of Texas.
Yeah, but Texas isn't going right now.
Yeah, I know.
But maybe he's all in on Texas.
Maybe he should just eat some cheesy grits.
Yeah. And isn't it funny, too? They're all talking about cheesy grits. Oh, cheesy grits. Is it cheesy grits? And, here's Mitt Romney. How y'all doing? I ate some cheesy grits this morning. They were good, biscuits. And then you got Newt saying, "Oh, I'm from Georgia. I really know what cheesy grits are about." Good golly, Newt. Come on. Let Romney be a nerd and try to act like he's a Southerner. Everybody knows he's just making fun because he is from up north. I thought it was kind of, what? I think Romney saying, "How y'all doing? I had some cheesy grits and biscuits," was good, a neat thing for him to do and a smart thing to do. And then Newt goes, "Ooh, he doesn't really know what grits are." Ooh.
Well, next November I'll be at the voting booth. I'll be thinking, he did eat the cheesy grits. That's not even an issue.
I know. And then it's all over the place. Like on Meet the Press, we had Schieffer explaining about how do you eat a tortilla, and you take and you take off the wrap or something to shuck, or a tamale. You take the shuck off tamale, and how Gerald Ford almost ate one. Then you have Gibbs talking about how you're really supposed to eat grits, and
Is there a wrong way to eat grits?
I don't know.
Cheesy grits are pretty good, actually.
I don't. Oh, okay.
I love grits.
And you all love my standard line. It gets me sick and tired. All right, you know what makes the Bulldog sick and tired right now?
What is it?
John McCain and all the other Republican jackwagons out there going, I'm getting a little concerned at the GOP nominee. We don't have a nominee yet. This is going on too long. And guess what, you jackwagons? You made the rules.
True.
The GOP made their primary drag out like this, and now they're moaning and groaning. It's taken so long to choose a nominee.
And they still don't have a strong front runner.
No, but isn't that hilarious?
Yeah, it is.
They're the ones that made it like this. Hey, knock, knock, jackwagons. Why don't you make why don't you make Super Tuesday the vote for every damn state? And guess what? It'll be wrapped up in March.
Yeah, and it's over. Mitch McConnell could have been working on that for the past 3 years.
This staggered vote thing in staggered states is so unfair. It's unfair to all the states. It's unfair to states like Kentucky. It's unfair to. Why should we have Iowa and then New Hampshire? Ooh, we go down to South Carolina. Yeah. They create this stupid rule, and then they expect it to be decided. By the way, nobody's talking about this. No talk show host in the country has mentioned this fact that the people complaining are the ones that created the rule.
You're right.
You heard it first on the Bulldog. Okay, here's another thing.
Well, that loss of an hour really got to you, didn't it?
Hillary and Obama, they went through June. They went to June before they decided things. So who cares anyway? The latest Alabama poll, I haven't heard a Mississippi poll, but the latest Alabama poll, Newt 30, Santorum 29, Romney 28.
Really?
That is a close. I still predict Romney to win. Yeah. Money.
Unfortunately, you're probably right. The money will get him in.
Over the weekend, Santorum won Kansas with 51% of the vote. He picks up 33 of their 40 delegates. Romney won Wyoming. He gets 7 of the 12 delegates, and Santorum gets 3. Remember, tomorrow night, it's Alabama and Mississippi. We'll see who wins. I want to honor the Keystone Democrats. When we come back, they're called the Keystone Democrats. More radio superbity. Hey, guess what? There's a bill to impeach Obama. You'll hear about it when we get back on Real Talk 1160.
Make sure you join Michael Savage today, noon to 3 on Real Talk 1160. Right now, let's get back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. The quote of the day is from Dwight Eisenhower. When you're in any contest, you should work as if there were, to the very last minute, a chance to lose it. Today in history, in 1912, the Girl Scouts were founded by Juliet Gordon Low of Savannah, Georgia. 1947, Truman established what became known as the Truman Doctrine. Do you know what the Truman Doctrine was, TC?
I've heard of it, but I couldn't quote it.
The Truman Doctrine was basically, we're not going to let communism spread anywhere.
I like that. Good doctrine.
We're going to say no. We're going to say no. In 1951, Dennis the Menace debuted in 16 newspapers.
Is that right?
Yep. Some say there should be a comic strip, Eric the Menace. I take great offense to that, being a menace.
Or a reality show.
A reality show. Famous birthdays today. James Taylor is 63. He's up on a roof singing to Liza Minnelli, who's 65. By the way, on Saturday Night Live, Kristen Wiig did a great Liza Minnelli imitation. Oh, my God. Jonah Hill played her ex-husband, and oh, my God, it was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, Kristen Wiig is a talent. She's in that movie Friends with kids, too.
Oh, is she?
So was John Hamm. Adam Scott plays the main. And Jennifer, whatever her name, who's John Hamm's real-life girlfriend, is also in the movie having with other people. How would you like? I'll tell you right now, I would never be married to an actress. Oh, honey, what are you doing today? Well, I got to do a love scene with Brad Pitt.
No, you don't. No, you're not going on the set today.
Well, you know, you had to do one with Jennifer Aniston. I know, but that was different. How do they deal with that stuff? Oh, it's just an acting kiss. Give me a break. Today's forecast, it's rainy. Tuesday, cloudy. This week, folks, it's spring. This is the year we did not have a winter. High 76. And I think we're going to do we have to because St. Patrick's Day falls on Sunday.
Yes.
So we're going to celebrate it Friday and Monday.
All right. They'll cover both ends of the weekend.
Absolutely. Sultana. The steamboat Sultana was a Mississippi River paddle wheeler destroyed in an explosion on April 27, 1865. This resulted in the greatest maritime disaster in United States history. An estimated 1,800 of the 2,400 were killed when one of the ship's boilers exploded. The reason this disaster was mostly forgotten is because it took place soon after the assassination of Lincoln. Most of the new passengers were Union soldiers, chiefly from Ohio, and just released from Confederate prison camps for like Andersonville. The U.S. government had contracted with the Sultana to transport these prisoners of war back to their homes. Jeez, well, the boiler gave way when the steamer was about 7 to 9 miles north of Memphis at 2 a.m. Hot coals scattered by the explosion soon turned the remaining superstructure into an inferno, the glare of which could be seen in Memphis. That's a sad story. Sorry it wasn't a feel-gooder. You know what? We're going to make you laugh. We got to make you laugh. My dad is a dancer. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, here is your joke for the day. It's a good one. And then again, I don't deliver bad jokes, do I? It's witty and wise. It's humor superbity. One day, a fourth grade teacher asked the children what their fathers did for a living. All were the typical answers: fireman, mechanic, businessman, lawyer, salesman, radio talk show host, and so forth. However, little Justin was being uncharacteristically quiet. So when the teacher prodded him about his father, he replied, "My father's an exotic dancer in a gay cabaret and takes off all his clothes to music in front of other men, and they put money in his underwear. Sometimes if the offer is really good, he will go home with some guy and stay all night with him for money." The teacher, shaken by this statement, hurriedly set the other children to work on some exercises and took little Justin aside to ask him, "Justin, is that really what your father does?" "No," said the boy. "He works the Democratic National Committee and is helping to get Obama reelected, but it's just too embarrassing to say that in front of the other kids." Cha-ching!
Cha-ching.
Shakespeare of the day. Reputation is an idle and most false imposition, oft got without merit and lost without deserving. Amen, William Shakespeare.
Yeah, there's a girl I knew in high school that had a reputation. She deserved it. There
are some unbelievable jackwagons in positions of power that had because they're so-and-so and the so-and-so, so-and-so. I mean, Larry Summer, Larry Summer, we'll put him in someplace important. Larry Summer, yeah. And they don't deserve it. And then there's other people that get unfairly attacked, accused, belittled, and so forth and so on, and they don't deserve it. Like that young girl in school that everybody lied about.
Yeah.
And gave her an unfair reputation.
Oh, yeah, that girl. And then there was the other girl that earned every bit of her reputation.
And there's the Bulldog, the Kentucky Bar Association.
An undeserved reputation.
Don't even get me started, baby.
Yeah, go ahead. You got time.
By the way, I'm on day 39. Heck, I'm a third. I'm almost halfway done.
That's it?
Almost halfway done with my Kentucky suspension.
We don't have Ted Koppel come in every day and say, Day 39, the Bulldog held hostage.
I want to thank all my clients, friends, and supporters and fans for their support. Haven't lost a Kentucky client, and it's been awesome. All right, let's get straight to it. I don't have I've tried to put up my computer, so you're going to have to jackwagon. I only have 2 jackwagons. Hulk Hogan, come on, Hulk, and the Washington Redskins for their stupid trade are the jackwagons of the day, TC.
Your jackwagons!
Your jackwagons.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The live version of it.
That's okay. And Oracles go to the Bearcats and Nick Cronin. I just want to say I admire Nick Cronin. He's done a hell of a job as a coach, and I like the guy. He might look like Casper, but I don't care. He's a good guy. UK Wildcats and Calipari for the #1 overall seed. And represent Walter B. Jones Jr., Republican, North Carolina, for introducing a impeachment bill, which I will discuss here shortly. Keystone Democrats. You know what? There's some say that the only good Democrat's a dead Democrat. I'm not like that. That was a joke, folks. Max Baucus, Montana. Mark Begich, Alaska. Bob Casey, Pennsylvania. Kent Conrad, North Dakota. Kay Hagan, North Carolina. Mary Landrieu, Louisiana. Joe Manchin, West Virginia. Claire McCaskill, Missouri. Mark Pryor, Arkansas. John Tester, Montana. And Jim Webb, Virginia. All voted for the Keystone. And I got this. This is great. I got this from a Bulldog Nation member. I call it irony. The food stamp program, as part of the Department of Agriculture, is pleased to be distributing the greatest amount of food stamps ever. Meanwhile, the Park Service, also part of the Department of Agriculture, asked to please do not feed the animals because the animals may grow dependent not to learn to take care of themselves.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Great observation.
That's a great observation.
That is all right.
I thought the Park Service was part of the Department of Interior. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
It's still, I thought maybe not feeding the animals because they might bite your hand off. Is it really because they don't want the bears to grow dependent?
Because the bears start coming around. Hey, there's a camper and they've got some food.
Hey, man, I want some food.
Now, can we feed the occupiers at Piatt Park?
Yes, you can.
Can we bathe them first?
We can bathe them. Rand Paul has tomorrow at 9 p.m., has a teletown hall meeting. March 13th at 9 p.m. to discuss his legislation, the Defense of Property Act. You can get all the information on my blog and newsletter. And, all those jackwagons that are talking about, we need a brokered convention. GOP, we need a brokered convention. You don't like any of these people. Dick Morris, I watched his video blog. He actually pointed out that since 1960, when 2 Democrat conventions and 2 Republican conventions had a brokered convention, the guy they picked lost.
Really?
So all of you people that think we need a brokered convention for the GOP, history says, loser. Just remember that. We come back, run a feel-good song. Shall Obama be impeached? Economics. And I think I have some rants in me, just because it's Monday, on Real Talk 1160. This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Representative Walter B. Jones, Jr., Republican of North Carolina, has introduced a resolution declaring that should the president use offensive military force without authorization of an act of Congress, that such an act would be an impeachable high crime and misdemeanor. Hello? Why do we need a resolution? It already should be the law. You know what
it
it
takes
is?
away some of his power.
Everybody just lets the executive branch get away with stuff they shouldn't let them get away with. They did it with Bush. They're doing it with Obama. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I have some economic news. Fender Guitar plans an IPO, so if you like guitars, you can own a little piece of Fender Guitar. Jets, 2011 sales of jets fell 7%. The aerospace jobs in the U.S., get this, folks, 487,600, down from 840,000 2 decades ago. 20 years back. So let's go all the way back to 1992. 1992. We've lost since 1992 400,000 jobs in the aerospace industry.
Now, are any of those jets still functional?
Yeah. And you know what we should do? You know what the solution to this is, don't you, according to Obama? Let's tax them. Let's tax those people buying these jets. That'll make more jets.
Well, because remember the Volkswagen Beetle? They sold a ton of those at first, then they couldn't sell any because everybody who had one was happy with the one they had. They never went back and bought a new one.
Yeah. There's plenty of jets. One day we're going to have a Bulldog Nation jet. Gulfstream.
Jet.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Bulldog Nation Gulfstream jet. Thoroughbred betting's up 7.6%. Apple says 25 billion apps have been downloaded. Jeez, old Pete. There's an app for that. Heck, if you don't have an app like, hi, my name is Jim Johnson and I live on 645 Lionel Lane. I need an app. There's an app for that if you live on that street.
There's an app for everything.
Jobs unemployment report Friday, 8.3%. It came out after our show. That's a fake number. They say 200,000 were added. TC, we have 5.2 million less jobs than we did 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But the economy's getting better.
So the
economy's getting better.
According to the info there, we added 200,000 jobs?
Yes, in February.
Okay, well. Now, see the thing that you say adding jobs. What kind of jobs are there? In other words,
I know.
If you get laid off and you're an accountant, okay, are we adding you back into the account or are you working at McDonald's?
Yeah, you're working at McDonald's is what you're doing. I have a show and tell, TC.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. But it's not as good as Friday's show and tell.
No, it's not as good, but it's a picture.
They're dressed.
This picture right here, folks, of my show and tell, which I will describe on the radio, is a beautiful picture of George Bush and his lovely wife, Laura, who, by the way, I've always liked Laura.
Yeah.
Laura the librarian. Classy woman. Now, if you notice down here in the corner, it says, to Eric C. Deters with best wishes, Laura Bush and George Bush.
How about that?
Now, you might say, oh, Bulldog, you're connected. No. This is the kind of political crap that goes on all the time. See, once upon a time, I gave George Bush, I think it's when he ran the first time, I gave him $500. So once you get on the mailing list, or $1,000 or something like that, maybe it was $50,000 to his pack, I don't know. Anyway, you get on the mailing list to these things, and you get these types of fundraising. Now, this is what this is for. Because he sends me this lovely, lovely picture, I'm supposed to send him money to the George W. Bush Presidential Center. Yes, because of this picture here. Now, you know what? I'm not going to send him a nickel for his presidential center. Just think of all the things that I could send money to. Tornadoes victims, which I have. Yeah. All those things. No. I'm going to send it to the George W. Bush Presidential Library.
That's the most expensive picture I've ever seen out there. You already got $500 invested in it.
I'll bet you it's down Midland, Texas. There it is, about Midland.
For $500,
Crawford,
you should at least
Texas,
have a brick with your name on it at the...
Crawford, Texas, right there. Crawford, Texas.
There it is.
Hi, this is George Bush. Send me some money to my presidential library.
Need some money.
Now, I got to ask you a question. George Bush's presidential library probably doesn't have many papers in it. He wasn't a scholarly lad. Look, there's my baseball card collection when I was at Yale.
Why do we need books?
We don't need books in my library. We need pictures. There's a lot of pictures.
Here's a picture of the girls getting kicked out of Argentina.
Pictures of George Bush's.
Here's a picture of my dimple chat.
Oh, gosh darn it. Now I want to tell you something. I'm able to compartmentalize. You know, George Bush was a quote-unquote night guy. In fact, I'm one of these jackwagons that voted for him the first go-around because I thought, well, he'd be a nice guy to have a beer with. Now, never mind the fact that, granted, God knows what we would have had with Mr. Lockbox, Al Gore. So I still feel good about my vote that I voted for Bush over Al Gore. But George Bush, man, I don't know.
Well, you know, you voted for Al Gore. He invented the internet. We could have had broadband.
Broadband.
We do have broadband.
Let's have some broadband. Speaking of George Bush, this is funny because he's the only president that we've ever elected. Ever president at an MBA. That's embarrassing, man. Bush had an MBA. Just proves that getting an MBA is not all that tough. Now, Fortune magazine did a, I'm Mr. Reader here, and I tore this out on page 172, B School Confidential. They talked to some B School students. That's business school. That's where George Bush people would get an MBA. Here is some of the 10 items that they've noted about our B School students. They have short attention spans. From the tenor of their questions, they seem to believe that they are first one to know anything on the subject and that everybody else is stupid. They want to know what's in it for them. They're impatient with the pace of their progress. While they might be willing to kill anybody themselves, they might not be willing to kill. They wouldn't mind if entire groups of management died by next Tuesday. They're subject to the whims and vagaries of every passing fancy in technology. I wouldn't bet on it, but I'd say they've all been drinking. Most looked hungover. No loyalty to speak of. When I revealed the amount of time I've been at my corporation, they looked at me as if I were crippled wildebeest just waiting to be brought down by a hungry leopard. They believe business is a rational occupation subject to the rules they pick up in their reading. It was all I could do not to laugh at the books about best practices and the glass cases that line the hallways. They are each and every one smart, attractive, and likable, and secretly believe they will succeed on their good looks and charm. 10, I'm not sure there is one. I think that's good. You know what this describes?
You?
Recent law school graduates as well.
Wait a minute. Don't you have an MBA?
No.
You went to business school.
I got a business degree.
Okay.
But not an MBA.
You fit a lot of that into that profile there.
No, I can tell you right now, every law school student that I've interviewed for a job, you can tell they're interested in using you until they find their next job.
You fit into that category. Read that before you throw that away. Read those again.
It's thrown away. It's thrown away. I am loyal. Okay, here's my jobs. All right? I worked on the farm till I was 19.
Yeah.
I worked in the credit card collection at the bank as a summer job.
Okay.
I worked at Dinsmore and Scholl as a gopher during college. I worked at my dad's law firm as a law clerk. Then I worked at my dad's law firm as an associate, then a partner. Then I started my own law firm.
Okay. That's
job stability. I haven't jumped around every place.
Wait a minute. You just named a bunch of jobs.
Those jobs were all summer. I know some people, they can name 20. How many jobs have you had, Mr. T.C. Summers?
Let me pull up my resume here.
9,634, I bet.
No. Actually, I prefer to stay at a place. Once I get a job, now I don't know if management feels that way, but I like to stay someplace once I get settled.
I think that's important to stay at a place once you get settled.
Yeah.
Settled is good.
Yeah, because you got to start all over, it seems like. You know, you after you've been there for a while, even if you're not like a top executive, you got a little bit of perk, because you've been around for a while. You know what you can get away with.
Good point. Stability.
Yeah.
If they treat you right, stay put. If they don't, move on.
Yeah.
By the way, is our fearless leader, station manager, back from vacation?
I don't know. I don't think he listened last week, so we were safe.
I think he gets like 20 paid weeks of vacation a year.
Wow.
So I don't know if he's back or not today. I know he was out last week. Our fearless manager. Are you listening, Jamie? Are you back today? Or are you on another? Oh, by the way, Jamie, there's a piece of athletic equipment that got shipped in here for you on a box. We're not going to tell the American jury what it is.
Yeah, I don't know if we should talk about that.
I know we should talk about that. I might get in trouble.
Came in a plain brown paper bag.
Plain paper bag.
Personal.
I don't see any photographs left for you, though. At least there's no photographs. We come back, we're going to the feel-good song, and I'm going to go on a rant. But I'm going to do it quiet. It's going to be a low-key rant on Real Talk 1160.
And make sure you listen up for the Huckabee Report. That'll be coming up at 8:30 this morning right here on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Little Willie won't go. Defiant little dude. Little rascal.
He's an MBA.
Little rascal. Little Willie. Come on, go home, Willie, go home. No, Willie won't go. You know, this president does such a lousy job that, it's almost like this. I almost feel like the president and his cabinet have decided, hey, no matter what jackwagon thing we do, it's okay because tomorrow we're going to do another jackwagon thing and everybody's going to forget about what we did yesterday that was a jackwagon thing. I mean, it's incredible when you reflect upon this administration. It's like, are you kidding me? And what happens is I think the public, especially that public which wants to not know what's going on, doesn't care what's going on, they want to stay in that ignorant, happy bliss, which I kind of get. My wife talks all the time about, why don't we just go to Montana and live in a cabin? I'm thinking, you know what, there's days when I want to go to Montana and live in a cabin.
The Freeman.
But here's the, you can go back through this administration and just one thing after the other, like all the czars. Have we forgotten about Van Jones, a known Marxist, being a green job czar? And he's forced to resign. How about the communications director, Anita Dunn, who turns out that she turns to Mao Zedong and Saint Teresa when she, when she's supposed to, have a major decision. So she has to leave. I mean, these are the people, that this president, has surrounded himself with. And then we have a situation like Fast and Furious. How can Eric Holder still be our attorney general with Fast and Furious and these immigration policies? How do we just accept, it's all right? The energy policies, this XL pipeline. How can the president on one hand talk about how, we need to do all these things for energy independence, and then he does something like that? I mean, it's incredible. In the tax policy, there's no tax code reform. I've gone down through this list just to make the point before, and I like doing it every once in a while. We pay income tax, property tax, accounts receivable tax, building permit taxes, CDL license tax, cigarette tax, corporate income tax, dog license tax, state federal tax, unemployment tax, fishing license tax, food license tax. There's gasoline taxes, there's inheritance taxes, inventory taxes, liquor taxes, luxury tax, marriage license tax, Medicare tax, real estate taxes, service charge taxes, Social Security taxes, road usage taxes for truckers, all those sales taxes we paid, recreational vehicle tax, school tax, state unemployment tax, telephone federal excise tax, federal universal service fee tax, tax, utility taxes, workers' compensation taxes. I mean, we're taxed to death. Then we're regulated to death. Goes on and on. We have Obamacare, which is increasing the cost of health care. President Obama told us that this was going to save us all from all the health care problems we have. And then you've got fiscal responsibility. How do you sit back and accept the fact that this president has never submitted a balanced budget during his 3 years and his fourth year's coming up budget, and he submits a budget this time around $1.3 trillion deficit on arrival, nearly 3 times the total market value of Apple Computer. Now, how do you sit back and listen to that, read about that, know about that, and want to vote for Barack Obama for re-election? I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can't. And then we learned last week about this 191 fundraisers since January 1st, which is 2.89 something a day. Let's round it up to 3. This president has attended an average of 3 fundraisers a day. Folks, that's 7 days a week. That's got to be at least 6 hours a day. You figure 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, an hour there. He's got to get, when you're going to $38,000 couple fundraisers, you got to speak. You got to get that picture taken for everybody that contributed that $38,000. My guess is it's more than 6 hours. $38,500 a plate. So if he's spending 6 hours a day doing this, meanwhile, the family had a 17-day vacation in Hawaii. They had a trip up in Martha's Vineyard. After she did the talk show circuit, Michelle and the kids went to Aspen. Don't forget the Sunday night concerts. They have Mick Jagger and B.B. King, and look at the president. He can belt out a line from Chicago, my home Chicago. Good golly, folks. We have a president who's a socialist. We have a president who puts socialists all around him. He's at war with God, Constitution, and capitalism, the 3 pillars of America. He vacations. He fundraises. When's the guy work? He doesn't work. He's got Valerie Jarrett there to take care of everything there in the White House. And you put up with this guy? Come on, independents. How do you vote for this guy? He's done a lot. You look at this president from every angle. You look at it from a personal level. We shouldn't reelect him from a personal level. You look at him from an ideological level. He's a socialist. How can you not claim this guy's a socialist? He wants bigger government. Bigger government. The more government that we have, the more food stamps, the more entitlement, the more registered people that he has to vote for his bigger government. He's destroying us from within. That's the game plan. He's not a Manchurian candidate in the sense that he's an alien. He's a Manchurian candidate in the sense that he is a pure grade, 100% government-inspected socialist. The proof's in his ideology. The proof's in his policies. No one but a socialist would do these things. America, we're not a socialist country. Then you look at his actions, okay? Judge him on his performance. Since 4 years ago, we got 5.2 million less jobs. Okay, attribute some of it to Bush. Okay, what about Obama's? Submitting a $1.3 trillion deficit. He's spending money like a drunken sailor. We're over $16 trillion. He's going to add $1.3 trillion, and the CBO says that within 10 years, $27 trillion in debt. Folks, how can you vote for this guy? How can you not care that he's our president? I got my own stuff that I got to go on like you every single day, don't we? We have our own issues that we got to deal with in our own lives. But we have this, it's like microeconomics and macroeconomics. We have micropolitics and macro life. Sure, macro life is something we got to deal with on a daily basis. We got to worry about our kids, our wives, our family, our jobs, our employees, our companies, all those things. But, man, we have a responsibility as citizen soldiers and good citizens like John Adams to pay attention to what's going on in our country, to pay attention to what this jackwagon is doing to America. We have an obligation to fight for, that being America. You can go your own way, but don't go socialist. We return more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. You can email me at eric@ericdeters.com, or you can text me at 859-250-2527. Anything you got for the show, or any Ohio legal matter. Or Florida. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, it's been too long since I told you the parable of the frog and the scorpion to make a point. So here we go. Many of you have heard this story, and if you have, I apologize. It won't hurt to relive it. And those of you that haven't heard it, because I haven't told it on my show for a long time. Once upon a time, there was a frog, and there was a scorpion. And the frog and the scorpion were sitting on the riverbank. And the frog was getting ready to jump in the river and swim across to the other side. And the scorpion looks at the frog, and the scorpion says, "Hey, frog, can I ride on your back as you swim across to the other side? Because I want to get to the other side of the riverbank too, but I can't swim." The frog looks at the scorpion and says, "No way, scorpion. You're a scorpion. If I put you on my back, you'll sting me and I'll die. In fact, chances are when we get out there in the river, you'll sting me and we'll both drown, so no way." The scorpion looks at the frog and he says, Come on, frog. Are you kidding me? Why would I ever do that? If I stung you when I was on your back, we'd both drown. I don't want to drown. Are you kidding me? Come on, frog. So the frog was talked into giving the scorpion a ride on his back across the river. So the frog puts the scorpion on his back and he starts swimming across the river. And he gets halfway across the river, and all of a sudden the scorpion stings the frog with his deadly stinger. The frog can't believe it as he feels the poison rush through him. And he says to the scorpion, "My God, what have you done? You said you wouldn't sting me. Now we're both going to drown. Why'd you do this?" And the scorpion replies, "I'm a scorpion."
It's what I do.
It's what he does, folks. It's what he does.
I know where you're going with this.
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, Barack Obama is what he is. Now, you might say, "Oh, Bulldog, are you saying he's a scorpion?" Well, maybe. No, what I'm trying to say is Barack Obama is what he is. He is a socialist. He is a community organizer. He does not like America. You know, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, we have video footage. We have his life. We have all those people around him. The proof is in the pudding. We have Michelle Obama saying, "This is the first time I've ever been satisfied with America," or however she put it. Are you kidding me? And they want to bring America to their knees, and you're letting them do it. And you know what? This is what I find fascinating. The cover for it all, the cover for the grand plan to bring us down is that, you know, "Oh, look at me. I'm a nice guy, and I shoot basketball hoops, and, you know, I smile, and I can give a nice little speech, and when I'm out on the campaign trail, I eat ice cream, and I eat sweet potato pie with the average Joes, and look at my wife. She's out there having fun and exercising with the masses, and look at my two sweet little girls, and I get to even have Bill O'Reilly say I'm a good guy, and I'm a nice guy, and I'm a handsome man, and Michelle and me and the girls are like perfect little couple, and, you know, we're for the little guy, and we care about you," and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's all a bunch of crock, folks. You know, there's another story in the Bible that I always thought was a neat story because I'm kind of a bitchin' soldier. My karate instructor, Bill Dimitrick, my sensei, always had the line, he goes, "A bitchin' soldier's a happy soldier." And I always said, that's kind of true, you know. People are always bitching, you know. Employees bitch, but they're okay, you know.
I thought they were the unhappy ones.
There's a parable in the Bible where a guy has two sons, and he sends both sons out to the fields. And the one son says, "Okay, Dad, I'm going to go. But he doesn't go. He spends the day, you know, hanging out, not working. And the other son goes, "Oh, gosh, dang it, I don't want to go out there and work." But he does go. He goes out there and works a full day in the field. It's pretty obvious which is the right way, which one favored his father, the one that complained about it but went and did it, versus the one who said he was going to do X, Y, Z, and he didn't. The proof's in the pudding, folks. Any objective evaluation of this president is an indicator that he is a great job blocker. He's an energy blocker. He's a capitalist blocker. You talk to any businessman or businesswoman in America today who's not receiving some special deal from the government. You ask anybody who's playing on that was supposed to be a level playing field, and they will tell you tax policy, but the regulatory policy and the rules and regulations that they have to deal with from local, state, and federal government are killing them. Killing them. The more laws that are passed, the more freedom that is taken. Less liberty. It's really that quite simple. Cicero made a comment about that every time a law is passed, freedom's taken. And it's true. It's true. We are a society of such reactors and such selfish individuals. It's like everybody's sitting around, and something happens in the neighborhood or something happens in your city or your county that is your issue, not anybody else's issue, it's your issue. And you run down there to your little local city council or county government and say, we need a law. We need a law. And what happens is hundreds and thousands of people across the country do that every day in county, state houses, in the federal house, and Congress. We need a law. Congressman Jenkins, we need a law. Senator Jones, we need a law. Yeah, we need more laws. Need a law for this, law for that. And what happens is it suffocates you. It suffocates you. You picked a business, okay? Daycare. Are you kidding me? Oh, what you got to go through regulatory-wise to open a daycare? Something I know about. Gasoline station. EPA, state EPA, federal EPA, state and local governments. I mean, unbelievable. Weights and measures. You name it, you got some regulatory issue to deal with. Name the business. Can you imagine the paperwork that a hospital or I asked Dr. Kurtzman in here before, the paperwork that doctors have to go through, hospitals have to go through? How about a bank? Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you go buy a house, there should be 3 documents. Deed, mortgage, closing statement. No. You got to sign about 6 inches of documents. Refinance, close, makes no difference. This is the disclosure. This is the disclosed. This is to make sure. Your initial here. And you know what? We get mad at the banks. Guess what? It's not the banks doing. It's the state and federal government's doing that requires us to sign all those documents. My dad tells the story when he was a young man that he borrowed $300,000 to buy the ground that the hotel sits on. You know the hotel down there in Covington, the Round Hotel with the restaurant that circulates where the Frisch's is? Well, Don Conrad, R.C. Durr, and my dad bought that ground together. They owned that land that was leased for that hotel to be built, okay? $300,000 way back when. When he went to the bank to borrow the money from Mr. Cooney, from I think it was People's Liberty Bank, Mr. Cooney, he said, here, Charlie. He signed the note, gave him the $300,000. There wasn't a pile of documents. Banks can't do that anymore. You walk into a bank and you're a billionaire. Guess what? We need to see your financial statement. We need to send you the last 25 years of your tax returns. We need to see the names and the Social Security number and date of birth of all your children to see if we can enslave them if you don't pay this back. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, we need a revolution in this country. Hey, I'm all for a peaceful one, but it'll never happen. It'll never happen. I hope you're enjoying listening to my calm Monday rants as much as I'm enjoying delivering them. Damn this traffic jam of regulation on Real Talk 1160.
And remember, if you missed your daily dose of radio superbity, we got you covered. Bulldog Nation podcasts are now up and running at realtalk1160.com. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160. That was going to be our feel-good song, so there you get 30 seconds of it.
Should we jump in?
Nah.
Save it.
Save it. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury just received a text message from a loan officer of a bank. And they said, I deal with that every day. Amen, brother. I'll guarantee you that this loan officer has clients and customers of the bank that he would love to lend money to, but can't due to the regulations and restrictions that are placed upon them by the federal and state industry. It goes on and on and on and on. You know, I told that story about the scorpion and the frog to make the point about Barack Obama. And I coined that phrase, they want us to be sheep for shepherds who are fools. And, of course, those people that choose not to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, I guarantee you that if you're listening to me, you're thinking, man, Bulldog is telling the truth and he's making sense. Do you know if my wife hears me say these things, she doesn't even want to hear it. She doesn't want to even hear it. I'm just picking on our president. And see, when I hear about these women vote, I warned you women, ladies. I said, thanks a lot, ladies, for giving us Barack Obama. You're going to do it again. You're going to do it again to us. You wonder why I like men jurors instead of women jurors. Now let's talk about one segment of the economy to make up my point even more. Energy. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, have you forgotten that this jackwagon of a president said he would bankrupt the coal industry if that's what it took? He did. He said it. It is black and white on video. He is willing to bankrupt the coal industry. What did we learn last week? The number of coal plants closing in this country and around the country, hundreds. Jobs out the yin-yang going down the tubes. Meanwhile, he's not doing anything to push nuclear energy. No. Green energy. Let's do some green energy. More Solyndra. Yeah. Companies like that. Then he comes up with his administration comes up and says, local oil production has increased. Since I've been president, domestic oil production has increased. And what did we find out at the congressional hearings last week? Yeah, states have allowed more domestic production, i.e. North Dakota, Pennsylvania, all of the fracking. And guess what? The federal land oil production has been down. I think 17%. More lies, more twisting lies. The states go out and try to do something to improve domestic. He opposes more domestic production and then tries to claim credit for it. He's remarkable. And this guy's going to lie. He sits down with Bishop Dolan, Archbishop of New York, about the health insurance policy, reeling with contraception, and says, I know, you won't have any problems with it. Then he goes and does something else. And you can go down the list of all these times he'll sit down with somebody and say, oh, yeah. Well, you know, he's willing to lie to the face of an archbishop. He's willing to lie to you and me. You know, we have all kinds of options. Okay, Shell. Shell's going to get to do some drilling in Alaska, but guess what? Your EPA has made a laundry list of restrictions. We'll see whether it ever happens. He's on the phone last week killing the XL pipeline. His phone calls to Reid and other key senators killed it. We got 10 Democrats coming our way, but not enough. Apparently, they're going to Propose that again. Put it up for a vote again. But this is incredible. Meanwhile, gas prices are up to about $4, $3.89, and he says in a press conference, back to this scorpion and frog issue, do you really think that I'm running for re-election, I want to be up at $3.89? Yes, he's already stated in prior press conferences, prior campaign speeches, that if gas goes up, that would be a good thing because Americans will use less and look to alternative energy. Meanwhile, we have a Volt, which GM has stopped producing because the car is a piece of crap. Fuel, the most basic thing that we have. Okay, shovel-ready jobs. He comes here and looks at our bridge. Well, we got to do some jobs. None of these jobs on this bridge here knowing that through his regulation, it would be years before any work's done on our suspension bridge. Meanwhile, the XL pipeline, which would create jobs, which is plenty shovel-ready, he opposes. He's a hypocrite. He's a liar. He's a scorpion in the White House. He cannot help himself. He is a community thug organizer from Chicago. Look at all of his associations and all the, oh, God, Bulldog, how come you got to keep bringing that up? Ayers, Jeremiah Wright, Frank Marshall, Anita Dunn, Valerie Jarrett, Van Jones, Eric Holder. Eric Holder, how about this? Eric Holder, Mr. Too Fast and Too Furious, is suspicious of the New York Police Department for keeping an eye on radical Islamic extremists in New York City. And he might want to investigate it. Are you kidding me? The New York Police Department is looking out for New York City, and they're going to become a subject of an Eric Holder investigation? What credibility does our Attorney General, the chief law enforcement officer in this country, have when he is tied up to Too Fast and Too Furious and all of his people are taking the Fifth Amendment, they're not turning over documents, and he's in contempt? The Attorney General of the United States is in contempt of Congress. And he is our chief law enforcement officer. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury. You know why we have a federal government the way we have it, a state governments the way we have them? You have a city government the way you have it in Cincinnati with all their jackwagonness. Why you have state and local governments everywhere, why you have associations and regulatory, why you got a Kentucky Bar Association the way you have it. You know why we have all those things? Because every time someone like me stands up and fights like a warrior poet, like William Wallace, who says, you know what, I'm taking you on. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to fight. You get the power apparatus coming down upon you. I always wondered, when you go to, these people go to the movies, these bureaucrats that go to these movies and they see an injustice on the screen, like Aaron Brockovich, I always thought to myself, when they go see the movie Aaron Brockovich, who the hell are they rooting for? That gas company, I sure hope that gas company keeps poisoning that water so all those people die and get cancer. I mean, who do the jackwagons in power who do this to us, who do they root for when we go to those movies? Every good movie has an antagonist and a protagonist, and they're in a protracted battle. That's what makes a great story. Ever since they were writing Greek tragedies, it's the great protagonist and antagonist battling good versus evil. Who the hell do those jackwagons root for when they go to a movie? I often wonder. Boy, I hope they keep crushing that little guy. And you know what? Everybody kind of looks around. I got your back. Yeah, baloney. You fight the battles alone every day, don't you? Man, I've enjoyed the last 45 minutes of this show. I'll be back tomorrow with some radio superbity. Maybe I'll be in a good mood on Real Talk 1160.